A boy named Luke is constantly bullied at school by a group of thugs. What the bullies don't realize is that someone is secretly watching over him. A man named David, who claims to be Luke's older brother and a recently retired Special Forces soldier. When David finds out about the bullying, he calmly asks Luke to point out the ones responsible. Determined to teach them a lesson, David takes Luke to follow the bullies to a nearby bar. He calls the bartender and orders a fiery cocktail loaded with chili peppers, along with drinks for each of the bullies and their girlfriends. The mocking gesture instantly catches their attention, and one of them angrily confronts David. Without saying a word, David stays calm even when the thug throws a drink in his face. Smiling coldly, he retaliates by splashing the fiery cocktail back and unleashing a brutal beating on all of them. None of the bullies stand a chance against his military-level combat skills. Once the chaos ends, David leaves cash on the counter to cover the damages and walks out with Luke as if nothing happened. But there's a secret David hasn't shared. He isn't actually Luke's brother. He's a former comrade of Luke's real brother, Caleb, who tragically died in combat 2 weeks ago. The Peterson family, Spencer, his wife Laura, and their 2 children, Luke and Anna, have been struggling to cope with the loss. One morning, Laura is drowning in sorrow after Spencer and Luke leave for the day. Suddenly, a polite and composed man appears at their doorstep. He seems to know who she is, addressing her by name and introducing himself as David Collins, a former U.S. Army sergeant who served alongside her late son, Caleb. He explains that he trained and fought beside Caleb and was one of his closest friends during their deployment. Laura is taken aback but invites him in, still unsure about his intentions. David tells her he had spent several months recovering in a military hospital after being injured in service, and that he came straight to see her after being discharged. He claims he was with Caleb when he died, and that Caleb's final wish was for him to check on his family and tell them he loved them. Overcome with emotion, Laura breaks down in tears. When she returns from the washroom, David shows her a photo from Caleb's deployment days. Any doubt Laura had instantly fades away. Seeing her sadness, David pretends to leave politely, saying he should have called first. But Laura insists that he stay, assuring him that her daughter Anna would want to meet him. David's respectful and gentle demeanor quickly wins Laura's trust, though Anna remains distant and cautious. When David mentions that he plans to stay at a local motel, Laura insists that he stay in Caleb's old room instead. After she leaves him to settle in, David's expression changes completely, calm but unreadable, hinting at something hidden beneath his composed surface. Meanwhile, Luke continues to face bullying at school, but chooses not to tell his mother. When Laura picks him up, he pretends everything is fine. Back home, David starts bonding with Luke and helping him with homework, praising his intelligence and encouraging him. Luke starts to feel comfortable around him, seeing David as the strong, confident figure he's been missing. However, not everyone in the family is at ease with David's presence. Spencer, Laura's husband, is deeply suspicious. He argues with his wife about letting a stranger live in their home, expressing concerns that the soldier might be mentally unstable after combat. He warns Laura that many veterans return with PTSD and unpredictable behavior. But over the next few days, David's charm and helpfulness begin to change Spencer's attitude. The 2 men spend evenings watching football together, sharing drinks, and talking about life. During one of these conversations, Spencer opens up about his financial struggles and his frustration at work. He explains that a younger, less experienced colleague recently got promoted to regional manager simply because he had a college degree, leaving Spencer feeling humiliated and overlooked. When David mentions his plan to move to Florida to work in construction, Spencer immediately objects, telling him to stay a few more days until he figures things out. Despite his earlier doubts, Spencer begins to genuinely like David and appreciate his company. As time passes, David becomes a strong and supportive presence in the Peterson household. He picks Luke up from school, helps him stand up to bullies, and even earns the boy's complete trust. However, his relationship with Anna remains distant and uneasy. Later that evening, Laura insists that Anna take David with her to a Halloween party, unaware that this decision will soon take their family down a very dangerous path. As Anna prepares for the party, she assumes Luke is in the bathroom and calls him to hurry, only to find David half-dressed. The moment unnerves her. She stumbles, flushed and suddenly aware of his striking presence. Reluctantly, she brings him along to a Halloween party hosted by her friend Kristen. David slips easily into the social circle and quickly impresses Kristen's friends with his looks and confidence. When Anna mentions she has a boyfriend, Zeke, David accepts it without comment, promising discretion. At the party, tensions flare elsewhere. Kristen is accosted by her aggressive ex, Drew. David intervenes without hesitation, physically taking Drew down and driving him off. Kristen, vulnerable and grateful, later spends the night with David, unaware of the growing pattern of violence trailing him. During the festivities, David casually asks Anna's friend Craig where to source firearms. When Craig brushes it off, David's soldierly manner gives the request weight. He claims he's a professional with a taste for guns. Later, he notices Anna and Zeke arguing. Their bad mood sends Anna home early, and David offers to drive. On the drive back, Anna vents about Zeke's lack of direction, no job, no ambition, and confides that she's been saving for college while he drifts. David flatters her, making a crude joke about having gone to war for a girl like her. Touched by the attention, Anna promises to make him a mixed CD of songs he likes. Back home later, she loses herself in music and the task of assembling the CD, while David sits in Caleb's old room, the expression on his face unreadable and chilling. That same afternoon, Anna overhears something that unsettles her. David is on Luke's phone having an urgent, intense conversation with an unknown caller. He speaks about needing a new face and mentions arranging plastic surgery and fingers, details that imply someone is trying to erase his identity. Alarmed, Anna calls the military base to verify David's identity. The response she receives triggers an alert at a private military contractor called KPG. David Collins was officially presumed dead in a hospital fire in Arizona. Major Richard Carver, head of KPG, mobilizes a Special Forces recovery team to retrieve or neutralize the test subject now believed to be living with the Petersons. Meanwhile, David meets Craig and Craig's associate to buy weapons. Showing cash, David inspects their stock and then, in a sudden burst of violence, executes both men with a handgun, taking their guns and grenades. Hours later, Anna receives another blow. Zeke calls to tell her Craig has been murdered. Panicked, Anna rushes to Kristen's workplace for support. That evening, David and Luke sit out on the porch, carving pumpkins. David produces a Swiss Army knife and slices through a pumpkin easily, then nonchalantly gives Luke the blade, urging the boy to learn how to defend himself. He pressures Luke to fight back against the bullies, even suggesting escalating measures like confronting them at night, hinting at arson and revenge. Luke takes the knife, conflicted but emboldened. When Anna returns, she acts casual but quietly searches for evidence. She finds David's phone and photographs the call history, then hides with loud music playing as she contemplates what she's found. The phone rings, startling her. She panics and tosses it back into David's room. David, hearing the faint ring, moves through the hall with a grim expression and retrieves the phone. He lingers outside Anna's door, trying to listen, and Anna holds her breath until he departs. Shortly after, Anna learns Zeke has been detained, arrested for Craig's murder after the weapon used was found in his van. The mounting coincidences, Craig and the firearms dealer killed, the phone calls about identity change, KPG's alert that David Collins is officially dead, begin to paint a darker picture. Anna's suspicion deepens. The stranger living in her family's house is not who he claims to be, and the comfortable protector who smashed a bully in a bar may be hiding a far more dangerous past. Overwhelmed by despair, Anna begins to feel that her entire world is crumbling, and it all seems to have started with David's arrival. Distraught, she confides in her family about her suspicions. While her mother sympathizes, her father, Spencer, remains dismissive, convinced that Anna is overreacting. Their argument escalates when Anna reveals she contacted the military and learned that David was declared dead. David handles the confrontation with practiced calm, explaining that he was part of a classified Special Forces operation and that the military sometimes creates false stories to protect their agents. Producing his old dog tags, he convinces Spencer that Anna's concerns are misplaced. Furious at his daughter's accusation, Spencer defends David and demands she apologize, leaving Anna humiliated and storming off in anger. Feigning innocence, David reassures the Petersons that the confusion was a misunderstanding. Later, he appears in Anna's room unexpectedly, his presence cold and unsettling. He offers hollow condolences for Craig's death and mentions that he'll be leaving the house soon, subtly warning Anna to stop investigating him. As he turns to go, his attention catches the mixed CD Anna made for him, a small token that he accepts with a falsely cheerful expression, masking the danger lurking beneath his calm exterior. Meanwhile, Major Richard Carver boards a plane, assembling a tactical team to capture David before he causes further destruction. As Anna digs deeper, she uses a reverse directory to trace the phone numbers from David's call log and learns that he has been contacting a disgraced plastic surgeon in Miami whose medical license was revoked years ago. With her suspicions mounting, she seeks help from Luke, convincing him to quietly look into David's background. Though skeptical, Luke reluctantly agrees. Soon after, Luke faces another bullying incident at school, but, encouraged by David's earlier advice, fights back with uncharacteristic aggression. The confrontation lands him in the principal's office, and David arrives with Laura to intervene. Using his charm and manipulation, David pressures the school into reducing Luke's punishment to mere detention. Feeling grateful, Luke lets slip that Anna is planning to report David to the authorities and that she suspects him of murdering Craig and others. When Luke also mentions the name of the plastic surgeon David had called, David's expression darkens instantly. The boy promises to stay quiet, unaware that he has just sealed his fate. Later, while David helps Laura with the laundry, she thanks him for everything he's done for their family. Completely unaware of the monster she's addressing, David remains polite but distant, concealing his growing unease. That same evening, Richard and his team arrive at the Peterson residence, ready to apprehend him. But before anyone can explain, David reappears with the laundry and opens fire. The house erupts into chaos as bullets tear through the walls. During the violent exchange, David sustains an injury, but manages to kill nearly the entire team. Cornered, he encounters Laura in the kitchen. When she demands the truth, David admits he and Caleb had both been part of the same secret military program. Torn between guilt and survival, he hesitates. But when Laura calls out for help, he swiftly stabs her in the chest. Moments later, he finishes off the remaining operatives before escaping the house. Outside, Spencer unexpectedly crosses paths with him, unaware of what has happened. With chilling composure, David eliminates him as well before driving away. Richard, barely alive, borrows a nearby vehicle and picks up Anna from a local diner, warning her that David is on the loose, but it's already too late. David arrives at the same diner shortly after and massacres everyone inside, including Kristen, before detonating grenades to erase the evidence. On the road, Richard reveals the horrifying truth to Anna. David was a subject in a classified military experiment designed to engineer the perfect soldier through neurological conditioning. The experiment stripped away empathy and amplified obedience, creating a remorseless killer. After the project collapsed, David burned the facility down, killing everyone inside and faking his own death. Now he is programmed to eliminate anyone who threatens to expose him, even if he consciously wishes to stop. Meanwhile, Luke is serving detention at the school gym, helping decorate for the upcoming Halloween dance. His teacher confiscates his phone just as Anna tries to call him. While Anna and Richard rush toward the school, they see police cars racing in the opposite direction. Richard informs her of the explosion at the diner and confirms the unthinkable. Both her parents are dead. Devastated but determined, Anna steels herself for the inevitable confrontation. At the school, a Halloween event is underway when the power suddenly cuts out. David announces his presence by playing Anna's mixed CD through the sound system, filling the dark gym with haunting music. As strobe lights flicker, panic spreads. David moves through the maze-like haunted house setup, killing Luke's teacher and Richard with brutal precision. Luke, terrified, still struggles to believe David could be responsible for such horror, until Anna arrives and tells him about their parents' fate. After ensuring Luke is safely hidden, Anna ventures into the chaos to face David alone. The former soldier stalks the corridors methodically, calling out in a calm, eerie tone as he searches for Luke. Following a faint sound, he discovers Anna waiting for him and realizes she has taken up a gun. She fires, striking him and sending him crashing to the floor. Believing she's finally defeated him, Anna lowers her weapon, only for David to lunge back to life, stabbing her in the leg. A struggle ensues as she tries to fire again, but the gun misfires, igniting nearby decorations and setting the area ablaze. David pins Anna down, his hands closing around her throat. Just as her strength begins to fade, Luke appears behind him and drives the same Swiss Army knife David once gave him into his side. The blade sinks deep, and David collapses, mortally wounded. In his final moments, he looks at Luke with a faint, almost proud expression before succumbing to his injuries. As the fire consumes the haunted house, emergency responders arrive at the scene. Anna and Luke sit outside in the flashing red lights of an ambulance, shaken, bloodied, and silent. Everything they loved has been destroyed, but they have survived the nightmare that began with a stranger's smile at their door. Like and subscribe for more recaps like this.